Diabetes and prediabetes is the root of almost everything. You have very few people with heart disease, with many forms of cancer, with dementia, with all these. This is the lie that's being told. And instead of talking about the root cause, we're saying that a weekly injection that you have to take for your entire life.
Humans, we're screwing this up so badly. We're not cattle. We're not robots. We're not cannon fodder. We're humans. We need to return to what is human. We're getting so far away from it. We're eating poisonous foods and then paralyzing our stomach with medication that doesn't work. We're getting sicker and sicker and sicker.
The American Diabetes Association said that as long as you take your medications, you do not need to change your diet as a diabetic. There's nothing more profitable for the pharmaceutical industry than, frankly, a sick kid. You imagine a kid with prediabetes, inevitably they're obese, inevitably they have hypertension, inevitably they have heart issues. They're going to be, like my mom, much earlier on just a ton of drugs, being told on each of those drugs that you're not curing anything. These are conditions you need to manage for life. So we're getting people, there's a war to get kids on that bandwagon.
This is insane.
Ozempic versus the proper human diet. My name's Kerry. I'm doing a documentary, Healing Humanity, The Power of a Proper Human Diet. Today we're taking a closer look at this interview with Tucker Carlson, and it's called Big Pharma is Fooling You Again and You Don't Even Know It, and it's featuring a gentleman named Callie Means. And this is incredible. A subscriber sent this to me, and there's so many things in here that resonate, so I wanted to share this with you and do a little bit of a reaction video. The thing that blows my mind the most is most of this is common sense to me, but it's shocking to Tucker Carlson, and it's shocking to most of his audience, I'm sure, and people that are eating the standard American diet. He's saying a lot of the same things that we've been talking about, although I have a big disagreement with him near the end of this. So stay tuned till the end. Let's get started.
Ozempic, which is a diabetes drug that apparently, at least in the short term, can help people lose weight. And on one level, you can see why they're not skeptical. This is a very fat country. That's a huge problem. And a lot of people, a lot of us, wouldn't mind losing 20 pounds by taking a pill.
50% of teens and 80% of adults are overweight. And this has happened in just a generation. We didn't become systematically lazier. And you have a diabetes doctor, just a generation ago, wouldn't see one child in their entire careers with diabetes. Now, diabetes, which again is cellular dysfunction, is cellular disruption, totally caused by environmental factors and what we're eating. Teens, 25% have fatty liver disease, which is something you only used to see in elderly alcoholics. But the American Academy of Pediatrics recently said that they recommend this as a first line of defense for teens. So there's a metabolic health crisis.
Teens, kids. This gets into so much about how we're messing up the youth. We should be protecting our children. We should be looking after our children, not getting them hooked on sugar and addictive foods and then turning them over onto pills and pharmaceuticals so they're lifelong sugar consumers and lifelong pill users. It's all about the money. It's really sick what's going on here. So let's continue. Oh, and Tucker says, yeah, people would love to just take a magic pill and then they could still eat their pizza and their junk food. Well, they're not getting to the root cause of the problem. If it sounds too good to be true, it's probably too good to be true.
Right, the USDA, which is completely corrupt, the guidelines that set nutrition standards, 95% of the guideline committees paid for by food companies, they say that a 2-year-old, that 10% of their diet could be added sugar. 10% of all food stamps funding goes to soda. We're the only country in the world that allows that. So we have...
Goes to soda?
Goes to soda. So
the U.S. government pays people to drink soda?
The U.S. government, direct from the federal treasury, more than $10 billion per year go from the federal treasury to soda companies through the food stamp program. The number one item purchased with food stamps in America is addictive diabetes water.
Here's an addictive drug, sugar. It's normal. It's just fine. Here, have a whole bunch of it, get diabetes, and then go on this medication for the rest of your life.
And the core mistake of Ozempic is that obesity is not an Ozempic deficiency. Obesity is not the root cause of the problem. And instead of talking about the root cause, we're saying that a weekly injection that you have to take for your entire life that costs $20,000 per patient when 80% of American adults are overweight or obese, we're saying that is the answer for obesity.
What it will do is it will continue to make big food incredible amounts of money and big pharma just endless cash flow forever. at the expense of humanity and people suffering their entire lives, dying young of heart disease, strokes, having depression, anxiety, suicide. And it's not good enough. They're so greedy that they need to get our kids, get them at a young age, hook them on cereal, hook them on sugar, show them cartoon characters on the cereal boxes, tell them breakfast is the most important meal of the day, get them hooked from sugar from a young age. And their lives are going to be short, but we're going to maximize the dollar value from each one of those individuals. And we don't care if they're kids because we're just greedy bastards, and that's all we care about is the money.
Pharma stocks are going up because they're doing cartwheels on Wall Street. This is on track because of government funding, because we stand to put trillions of government funding into this drug to be the most successful drug in American history. This drug medically is a absolute disaster. Medically, it's a disaster. So all you need to know is that Novo Nordisk, the company that makes this drug, recently passed LVMH to become the most valuable company in Europe. So this company, most valuable company in Europe, they don't allow this drug for obesity in Europe. Almost all of Novo Nordisk's revenue is coming from taking advantage of Americans. This is not the first line of defense for obesity in any European country. It's not approved by the government regulators. They are saying on their stock calls that all of their growth is coming from the U.S. They're taking advantage of a broken U.S. system in the United States.
We're not giving this to our people, but those Americans over there, 100%. They'll eat anything. They'll take any medication. They'll eat any food. This totally reminds me of the other example I've talked about before. There's so many foods that are banned in European countries. They're fine here in America. Ketchup is one of them. The ketchup we have in America, in many European countries, I think even Canada, they're like, oh no, we're greedy, but we're not as greedy as you Americans. We're not going to feed that trash to our citizens. The artificial dyes, the red dyes, certain ones of those, they're completely banned in other countries. But in America, it's just fine.
Paralyzes your stomach to make you not be able to process food correctly. And there's studies now saying that stomach paralysis, the really messing with your ability to digest food, actually stays after you go off the drug. So there's lawsuits now with people with severe gastrointestinal issues after coming off the drugs that's being pronounced, and that's coming out in lawsuits.
Paralyzes your stomach. I'm sure it's just fine. Ozempic versus the proper human diet. Should we behave like proper humans have since the beginning of time, or should we slowly poison ourselves with seed oils, sugars, and unnatural foods that are literally killing us? And then we could take a medication that's going to paralyze our stomachs. And I'm sure there's no downstream effects or side effects. Well, actually there are. He's going to describe them here.
Additionally, because of that, you're consistently seeing patients who go off the drugs gain the weight back. So that's almost, I think, universally accepted even by Novo Nordisk. When you go off the drug, you gain the weight back. But again, we're seeing most people that take the drug within the first year come off it because the gastrointestinal issues, the stomach issues are so pronounced. Additionally, the EU, again, where this company is based, just launched a probe into suicidal ideation.
Why is this something that paralyzes your stomach causing suicidal ideation? Well, I learned from Dr. Tony Hampton, when he went to medical school, they never taught him this. He said, who would have thought, but a lot of mental health issues start in the stomach, in the gut. Serotonin is developed in the gut. You're paralyzing your gut. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen. You're paralyzing your gut. What about your gut biome? I wonder what's going to happen. Insanity. Absolute insanity. Man, humans overcomplicate things so foolishly.
It's the largest spender on TV news ads. You have a situation where, additionally, Novo Nordisk, and this is reported, has given $30 million in direct bribes to obesity doctors.
Sign up for Ozempic tomorrow. The physician will tell me you got to take this forever.
Those are the instructions, yes. They admit that there's unknown metabolic problems if you go off.
Unknown metabolic problems. It's just fine though. Just take it. You got to take it for the rest of your entire adult life. Unknown metabolic problems. We're going to paralyze your stomach. It's just fine though. We'll get a lot of money. Just take it. Trust us. Just take it.
Yeah, Weight Watchers has shifted from a personal accountability organization that it's been preaching for decades and is now a prescriber of Ozempic. They've totally changed because Ozempic is a better business model because you never go off of it.
I hate Weight Watchers. I'm just going to say that. Freedom of speech, right? My buddy, I think JT said this or someone else did. Why do they call it Weight Watchers? Yeah, because you're just going to keep watching your weight. You're never going to lose the weight. It should be called Weight Losers. On the proper human diet, Healing Humanity, the power of a proper human diet. I don't watch my weight. My weight's gone. It's gone forever. You shouldn't have to watch it. Why do they want you to watch it at Weight Watchers? Because the longer you watch it, the more money they make. Because that's what it's all about.
This is insane.
So as we've treated everything in silos, that's a lie. Heart disease, diabetes, in many ways depression, Alzheimer's, they're branches of the same tree. We've actually lied, saying those are different conditions. The more statins we prescribe, the more heart disease goes up. The more metformin we prescribe, the more diabetes goes up. The more SSRIs we prescribe, which are now 25% of women.
The higher the suicide rate goes.
We're seeing skyrocket. So yeah, they're skyrocketing among kids, and there's actually a black box warning on SSRIs label actually saying that it increases suicidal ideation among children, and they're widely prescribed to children. The American Diabetes Association said that as long as you take your medications, you do not need to change your diet as a diabetic. Diabetes and prediabetes is the root of almost everything. You have very few people with heart disease, with many forms of cancer, with dementia, with all these. This is the lie that's being told.
It's just insane. And what are you saying earlier about it? It's all connected. It's all connected. I've talked to all of these individual doctors. It's all the same issue. It's one issue. We're slowly poisoning ourselves as humanity. We're slowly poisoning ourselves, and it's causing heart disease. It's causing strokes. It's causing mental health issues. It's causing IBS. It's causing stomach issues. It's causing fertility issues. All of these issues are not separate issues. It's just one big issue. You fix one, you fix them all.
Medical schools, pharma companies, hospitals, doctors, nurses, insurance companies, they make money when people are sicker for longer periods of time. The way to do that is to silo conditions. That's why Ozempic is so important, because obesity is not a siloed condition. Obesity is a visible example that we are losing our way as Americans, and treating that in a silo is just medically not going to work, and it's happening because of corruption. And if you came down an alien that was smart, that kind of, had a veil of ignorance and looked around, and you saw 80% of Americans consuming such toxic things in their environment that their bodies are literally cellular, is the visible result of cellular dysregulation. Obesity is literally the cells crying out for help and showing that they're dysregulated, which represents stuff happening invisibly in the body, such as all the chronic conditions we've talked about. If you look at that happening, highly related to mental health disorders, highly related to infertility, all connected, you would never say, let's keep everyone sick and give them marginal drugs, because we're not analyzing the problem and assessing what the root cause solution is. And I think we've changed our reality. We've changed our perception of kind of what reality is based on pharma, thinking that these marginal tools, and we've lost our way, right? The drug for every condition in a siloed state hasn't worked. We're all getting sicker. We've totally lost our way. There's nothing more profitable for the pharmaceutical industry than, frankly, a sick kid. You imagine a kid with prediabetes, inevitably they're obese, inevitably they have hypertension, inevitably they have heart issues. They're going to be, like my mom, much earlier on just a ton of drugs, being told on each of those drugs that you're not curing anything. These are conditions you need to manage for life. So we're getting people, there's a war to get kids on that bandwagon. Doctors need to, when somebody has a metabolic condition, explain to them and incentivize them to practice better eating, to exercise. People listen to doctors.
People are addicted to these foods, so it's kind of like telling an alcoholic, well, you go to the doctor's going to say, yeah, you should probably stop drinking. Well, if you're addicted to alcohol, you're not going to stop drinking. You need to have your why. You need to have the reason why, and we need to start eliminating these things, and we need to stop getting children addicted to things from a young age. There's a good first step. Imagine we got children hooked on alcohol from a young age, or cocaine from a young age. That would be crazy. That would be insane. But sugar is just fine. We're not treating the root cause of the problems. We're doing this documentary. We're following real people over the course of a year that are treating the root cause of the problems. They're healing humanity. They're healing themselves through the foods they're eating and the nutrition, which is the root cause of the problem. And they're having incredible results. I am a positive deviant. I'm doing something differently than everyone else is. I'm eating the proper human diet. I'm refusing to eat the sugar and the seed oils. I'm refusing to poison my body. I am returning to what is natural for humans. And the further and further away we get from what's natural, the sicker we're getting. I'm doing this, and so many other people are. We're filming people all over the world applying the proper human diet, and they're having incredible results. If you're interested in learning more, our documentary is healinghumanity.movie. We're taking donations to help continue filming. It's completely crowdfunded. I put thousands of dollars of my own money in it. Every penny we get, that's my motivation. My motivation for doing this isn't to make money. I'm never going to make a penny off of this. It's a passion project. I believe I could die at any moment. Every breath I take is a blessing. And if I'm going to die tomorrow, I want to die knowing that I did the best I possibly could to help others. There's so many hopeless people in the world. This is so simple. As humans, we're screwing this up so badly. We're not cattle. We're not robots. We're not cannon fodder. We're humans. We need to return to what is human. We're getting so far away from it. We're eating poisonous foods and then paralyzing our stomach with medication that doesn't work. We're getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and it needs to stop. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed that video, please share this. Please get the word out. We have to get the word out about this, and you're going to want to watch this video in the upper corner of the screen. I will never eat fruits or vegetables again. I know that's a huge statement. You probably think it's insane, but I bet you if you watch that video, I'm going to change your mind. You're going to reconsider. You're going to think, wow, I didn't realize it was that bad. Thanks a lot for watching. Beep.